The first game of the season is done. The first game of the season is over and Barcelona have won in very easy manner. Yet I think some of you are gonna be questioning a lot of the decisions or the performance of the team regardless. So I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. So let's get right into this video. Let's dissect Barcelona's win over Mallorca. What's going on, guys? ¿Cómo están? BugaLuis, welcome back to a new season. Welcome back to Barcelona's main fan channel. I don't know. It's just my channel. I don't like to call myself a Barcelona fan channel, but I just talk football. That's what I do. And welcome to a new season. Let's hope that this season brings us a lot of joy, brings us a lot of, well, good videos, a lot of good content, and definitely a lot of great moments that I want to share with you guys. So first of all, right from the get-go, I gotta say, this match is still going on. I have it on my screen right now. It's about a few minutes before full time. We interrupt this video with a quick message. Lamine Yamal just scored. Barcelona actually win this game 3-0. So that's amazing. That's really good. In the 94th minute, Lamine Yamal gets the goal and does his new celebration, you know, the crown celebration, the give me the crown, baby. Give me the crown. And I know a lot of people are gonna be saying, you know, oh, the real kings don't crown themselves, but who cares, dude? It's Lamine Yamal. Let him do what he wants. He gets better every single time, and I do not care. He just plays football and let the haters keep hating, because this guy gets better every time. Every single time he keeps getting better. Main things first, takes away from this game. Of course, Barcelona have come in and gotten a very easy first game of La Liga. The first match day has been super easy because of the mistakes of the referee, because of, you know, the 2 red cards. Barcelona here have been handed basically an easy 3 points. And a lot of you are going to be pointing out that how the hell did Barcelona not score more goals? And I know that that's certainly going to be what a lot of you are going to be putting in the comments down below. I know a lot of you are going to be maybe, you know, making your expressions, your impressions known on Twitter or whatnot. But of course, we could have scored a lot more goals and put ourselves a stamp, a message to the league saying, bang, we are scoring, you know, 8 goals. Barcelona have won and beat Mallorca by 8-0. What a tremendous first round. Barcelona are the best team in Europe. And of course, I think that is something that we all would have liked to see. And I think the context of this game certainly presented itself to give us that. But in reality, we have to look at this season in a much calmer way, because the season is very long. And we do not want our players to, you know, get stressed, to push as much or get as intense as they were in the very first few minutes, because Lamine Yamal started this game like on fire. I mean, he looked really sharp. Rafinha as well, Ferran Torres, Frankie, Pedri, all of our players looked really good. And that is something which I'm very happy to see. I'm very happy that our players are, you know, with the fire, and, you know, there's the fire in the belly within them to push further forward and get, you know, the big trophies at the end of the day. But this is the first game of a very long season. And I do not want us pushing, you know, as much in a game that we have mainly already won. I mean, Mallorca played for the better half of 60 minutes with a 4-4-0. A 4-4-0. That's the formation that Mallorca were playing with. So the game was never really, you know, in trouble. The result was never on the ropes. The 3 points was always on Barcelona's camp, and I think that we got that very easily. And we're going to be analyzing the decision making of the referee. We're going to be analyzing those problems later on, but I just wanted to get that message across as soon as possible, because I know some of you guys are going to be, you know, screaming out that we should have scored more goals and we should have taken this by the scruff of the neck and just sent a message out to Europe. That's certainly something that I think I would have said when I was younger, but I'm mature now. You know, guys, this is a new Buga. This is a new me. And that we gotta get that message across. If we want to go for the big trophies, we have to have the right mentality. So just like we always do, I want to go right first of all into the lineups of the game, because particularly I think there are some very interesting decisions that Flick made for this one. So Barcelona went on with the following lineup. We have Joan Garcia in goal, which apparently he has suffered sort of like a wrist injury at the start. which is unfortunate, but he went into it and had a tremendous game. Then we had Alejandro Valde, Pau Cubarsí, Ronald Araujo as the main captain of Barcelona, and then we have Eric Garcia, Frankie de Jong, Pedri, Fermín López, Rafinha, Lamine Yamal, and Ferran Torres. Eric Garcia here, guys, beat Jules Koundé to the starting spot. And I'm very, very curious to see what you guys have to say about this, because I think that Koundé was a little bit lost in the Como game, you know, in the Joan Gamper trophy. I think that maybe he had to do something with it. Maybe he was not on the right mindset. He looked a little bit lost. He really looked like he was hangover, like he had a really long party the day before. And maybe that's why Hansi Flick picked Eric Garcia over him. But in all honesty, Eric Garcia as a right back is looking really good. His form, even from the season before, is carrying over and he's looking like a very good, decent player. So I think Eric Garcia, I have no problem starting with him over in that position. I think that Ferran Torres as a starter was potentially the main starting player. I never thought really that Rashford could start. I think that Rashford still needs a little bit more time to embed into this system. And Fermín López, I think, over Dani Olmo was the real option. Fermín López really today disappointed me a little bit. I was expecting a little bit more of him. He looked really sharp in the previous games, but he didn't really show in this one. I definitely want to keep talking about the lineup, but we have to mention some few individual players because we already know the system of Hansi Flick. You know, it doesn't really change. We have to mention particularly the few players that I think stood out in this game. And I think for the first few minutes, Lamine Yamal, you could see that the game really flow through him. And I think that's the entirety of our game plan. We're going to start the creation on the right-hand side and try to finish it on the left. Lamine Yamal with the creation with Rafinha, sending the ball over the entirety of the defense of Mallorca. And then Rafinha just singling for the pass, the quick sprint from Rafinha and him heading it in. That goal is very similar to many that we scored last season. And I think that is something that's going to happen time and time again. The wing play of this Barcelona team is very, very intense. It's very good. It's very precise. And Lamine Yamal keeps getting way more precise with his passing. And if he can continue to do this on a consistent basis, we have a golden formula on our hands, really. And for La Liga, it's going to really dominate. The second goal for Ferran Torres, of course, is a little bit nonchalant. Like, I know that some of you are not going to have much reactions to it. I definitely didn't have many myself. It was very unfortunate what happened to the player for Raillo there. He had a concussion, and I guess the referee didn't blow the whistle. But we're going to cover that right now, actually. Let me pull out some tweets. There's this good account in Spanish called Archivo Bar that, you know, covers all of this. So I'll translate it for you guys. So here it says, basically, let's translate it. It's a serious error by Munuera Montero here in the Mallorca game versus Barça. Raillo's head hit the ball, falls to the ground in concussion. The referee had up to 8 seconds, guys, to stop the game with the ball even in the air, and he did not do so. So this is the play of what happened. Lamine Yamal shoots the ball, and I guess because of this, you could say that Lamine Yamal like directly was involved in both goals. In all goals, you could say. Because he had an assist in this play, and then the other one, the last goal he scored, 3-0 for Barça. And you can see how the referee, I think the main problem is that the referee didn't blow the whistle, but also confused the players because he put his whistle on his mouth, but he didn't blow it. You know, he didn't blow the whistle, and he had it all the time in his mouth, gesturing that he was gonna blow it, but he didn't. And that for me is the main problem of it. I think this goal, common sense is that it shouldn't have stand. Common sense is this goal shouldn't have been given. If I was the referee in that instance, I would have blown the whistle, you know, and checked if the player was all right. Common sense says that. But in a competitive nature and in the nature of the rules of the sport, this goal stands because Ferran Torres shot and it entered. So it's a goal. Unfortunate, but it's a goal. And there's nothing really Barcelona can do here, so let's continue. The next part I think we need to look at is, I think, this one, which is the red card on Muriqi. So the VAR had to lend a hand to Munera Montero here. Muriqi, who doesn't reach the ball, plants his foot at the height of Joan Garcia's neck. And I mean the neck, guys, the neck. He could have paralyzed our goalkeeper. That's straight red in my book. So he had to go to the monitor and see it again. And yes, it's a red card. Look at where it impacted. A little bit more to the left or a little bit stronger. And I mean, this could have been really, really bad. Like really, really bad. Like career-ending injury. I'm not kidding. So that's a straight red card, and that's the second red card for Mallorca in the game. The first red card as well. First yellow for protesting, and then the second yellow for what was a clear yellow foul or incident. And this is another one where for me, I think he got it wrong as well. And this one would have gone against Barcelona. So this is the third mistake of the referee. And this is where the VAR and Munuera Montero spared Rafinha's expulsion. The Brazilian forgets the ball and goes into both legs forward on Mateu Morei's supporting leg. It's a straight red card. First half to forget the Andalusian's referee. Look at that. This is in the last chance, the last opportunity, the last second, basically. In the last few moments of the game in the first half. And Rafinha basically does like a scissor kick. Not like a scissor kick, but you know what I mean? Like he both legs, stomp on the supporting leg, and that's a red card. So yeah, I mean, the ball, he doesn't clearly touch it. He doesn't in this angle. It seems like he touches the ball, but he doesn't really touches it. And I think this is a red card. This could have been very, very. The game at that moment was very, very intense. It was. The more I look at it, it looks like a red card. In that moment, I guess in the quick hit of the game, you could just say it's a yellow, but it looks like a red. It looks like a red. I'll tell you that. So far, guys, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like for the almighty YouTube algorithm. We really need to beat it. And so far, if there's something that I really want you to remember about this game, is that Barcelona, I think, took the right decision. The right decision in just being composed and not letting the entire situation of the referee and the game fall into a different level. I think Barcelona did correct here. I think all the players did very well. I think the only one that really disappointed me was a bit Fermi Lopez. I think Araujo stepped a little bit out of his line too much, sort of acting like a normal stopper, but maybe was a little bit too aggressive and got into the heat of the moment a little bit too much. But overall, maybe that resulted in the red card for Muriqi. So I guess it's a little bit of the mind games that we all like. The man of the match certainly for me is Lamine Yamal, who got the assist and the goal. I really like overall Lamine Yamal's talent. He keeps growing into an incredible player. And there seems like every single match we're going to have a moment like this where we just simply praise Lamine Yamal because he's literally such a godly player. He keeps growing and growing into an incredible player. And overall, it's really good to see the debuts of Marcus Rashford, the debut of Joan Garcia, and the debut of Jofre Torrents. I think all of these players are very welcome and could be great, squad players for the remaining of the season. And like I've been saying, the season is very long, guys, so do not get ruffled. Do not ruffle your feathers that Barcelona didn't score more goals in this game. Of course, we wanted to see more goals. I think that when we all saw the 2 red cards, maybe we're hoping for more, maybe a record-breaking La Liga history scoreline. But the reality is that we didn't need to go for that. It's the very first game. We need to keep it calm. It's a very long season, and I think that's where our head has to be at. And I'm very happy with the performance of all of our players. I think that, once again, this team is looking very, very good. And overall, Hansi Flick did a really good game management as well. I think that there's nothing really to take away from it. If there's one thing that I think we need to improve on is from the set pieces. I saw Pedri marking Muriqi. Like, what the hell is that? We're gonna concede like Dani Olmo marking Denzel Dumfries in the semifinal last year. That cannot happen again. That is something that simply it cannot happen. I like the movement of Rashford and Rafinha through the middle when they both play together, but it does leave us many times when Lamine gets the ball onto the right hand side and it flicks it into the middle and there's no one on the left hand side. Hansi Flick another thing that Hansi Flick did that we need to point out is that in the following, I don't know if it was because of the 9 men, but around the 60th minute where he brought in Jofre, the 70th minute, when he brought in Jofre and Pablo Gavi and Gavi. and Marcus Rashford, he changed to a back three and dropped Frankie de Jong as sort of this libero player. And at that moment, we sort of just wanted to stretch the pitch a lot more, and Lamine Yamal ended up playing sort of this the full right left flank was for Lamine Yamal. And I do not know whether that's also the best position for him, because quickly Barcelona just reverted back to the back four. So Hansi Flick is looking for ways, I think, to still stop and diminish the advancements of players, because even with 9 men, Mallorca, they were creating some chances. And I think that is one worrying part, because of the way that Hansi Flick's system or their teams play. They will always get chances. And I think that is a part that we have to be a little more mature about. You know, we have to be more composed about it. So that is a part that we have to improve on. So guys, that's going to be my analysis of this game. Hopefully you are enjoying what we're doing here on the channel. Hopefully it's a great season. And I'm very excited to have you back, all of you here. And I'll promise you I'll get the new shirt as soon as I can. And I'll see you in the next one. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought. I'll be answering all of your comments. I always do. I always try my best. And that's it. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Ciao, ciao.